Hello, 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 professor and fellow students.
All right, how you doing?
Okay, so the recording is now on, and let me share the screen. And you guys are going to get tired of seeing the same document in front of you every time. But right now, this is the focal point. So just a couple things. I'm currently enrolled in a marketing class, furthering my own knowledge. And, you know, a teacher never stops learning, so there you go. So I have access through the university that I'm taking this class right now. I have access to a database. And right before my last meeting, I had a half-hour break, and I was going through that, looking for some statistics, some industry reports. And when you go on Learning House, Learning Hub, sorry. When you go on Learning Hub, you'll see a new folder that says, I wish I knew what it said. Maybe I can look at it and show it to you guys. So I don't know how useful the information is going to be, but it's at least a Syscon industry reports. Do you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So it's at the bottom of that introductory section, and it's a bunch of reports. Let me just click on this one. This is the global steel market. So let's say that you were talking about the growth of the steel industry, and this is the world crude steel production statistics. This one is global stainless steel production. This one is global crude steel demand. Change in apparent steel use by region. So let's say that, look at this, right? NAFTA, so our region, 2014 was a very strong year with an 11% growth rate in demand. And then 2015, there was a drop. You could choose to address this as a negative trend, or address it as, now that we have a new administration, this could be changing.
Yeah.
And you could put this figure into this chart into your plan. And then you'll notice here, note, further information regarding this statistic can be found on page 31. So if you went to page 31, it tells you where that information came from, so that you can write your references and give credit to the people who did the research. So I don't know which of these reports will be of interest or useful to you, but it's at least some stuff like Steel Statistical Yearbook, machine to machine statistics, state of sales in marketing, Internet of Things report. So I'm looking for some general things that I have access to. By the way, these PDFs all run between $400 and $600. So if you went to their website and you tried to get that information, you would not have access to it. Which is why I'm downloading some stuff off of this website. I have access to it through the end of March. So
That's nice.
once I download a number of things, I'll send you guys some notes as to what I perceive as more helpful, but it may just help you imagine what is growing, what is decreasing, what regions are strong, what regions are weak, etc. Okay. So I did want to show that to you as a resource that's available. So let's talk about part 3 of the plan briefly, and then finally part 4. Growth objectives. So I changed some of the names. So instead of, I forget even what was on here, but growth objectives for C was more realistic of a name. These are the company Syscon's objectives to grow over time. And so you're not really adding that much to that because they've already stated what they want to grow. Yeah. But you can make some speculations of possibilities based on information. I sent you guys an email today that AJ had forwarded to me with a link to an article from the Wall Street Journal that talks about the demand of steel. Target markets, you'll need to address both industries for plant star and sensors. Positioning is where, so the red areas that I highlighted here are probably the areas that they are the most interested in. Ideas from you guys. Okay. So be creative in your approach to how would they position themselves in the market to become a leader in that industry. When you talk about the product, talk about under marketing tactics, product, you're going to be talking about how these two products are being revamped, are being improved, how the computerized portion is going to be cutting edge and look like Web 2.0. Pricing, the only thing we can really address in pricing is a rough guesstimate that it takes about 2 years to pay it off, and then make some recommendations to them as to how they would communicate that pricing, and refer to those case studies that are in the Syscon folder. Okay. And remember, those case studies are fairly old. So if a new case study were appropriate, what should it be like? Or is there a different way of providing that information that is more appropriate to 2017?
If I can ask a question real quick.
Yes, Heather.
On the pricing, I know that the Plant Star said 2 years, but I couldn't figure out ever if the sensors actually said the same thing.
They did not.
So do I need to find something for the sensors? I don't want to leave something blank.
I would suggest you send an email to
AJ
and ask her.
Okay. I will do that. Thank you.
Because that isn't any information that I have at my fingertips. So, yeah, that would be a very appropriate question for her.
Thank you.
As far as distribution, they did mention that they had a couple new distributors. But look at the industry and what is the structure of the industry, and if you have any suggestions for that. And then communication, the biggest thing about communication is how are we going to convey that new market image and the new brand. So I think they're very, very interested in hearing your ideas in that area.
And can I ask another question? Sorry.
Yes.
For the communication, I guess the way I was taking it based on the presentations is they're looking at having it be Syscon International versus a PlantStar image and then the sensors image. Am I looking at that the wrong way?
You are correct in your assessment. They want to brand it as one company.
Thank you.
And I was told that they are getting fairly close to having a new logo. There's a different class, a different group on campus working with them on a logo. And that logo may even give us a different direction altogether, but we don't have the privilege of having that yet. That group is probably 6 weeks behind in creating the logo. And it's because it's been a challenge to get all the employees to agree on anything. So they're making progress. It's just slower than they had anticipated. But as soon as I see something, I will share it with you guys. It will most likely end up being something that we incorporate into the revision during the second part of the semester. But we'll see. We'll see if it even is applicable. But yeah, it's the main thing that they want to figure out is how do they convey a brand? How do they make a mark in the industry where they've been kind of just in the background, especially with sensors where people don't even know their company name. PlantStar is known, but sensors, because it's more of a generic product and they sold it through their biggest competitor, they're at a little bit of a disadvantage. So the part that's due next week is number 7, controls. So as far as implementation, keep in mind that they want to go to trade shows this summer. So if they want to go to trade shows this summer, they need their communication plan completed before that. Use that as a time frame and work backwards. And the only thing about the implementation that you need to provide is some guidelines, like a simple timeline of getting the logo done, getting the trade show booth completed, getting the website updated. You know, what are all those pieces and what's a realistic timeline to get each of those started so that they're ready to launch come, let's say, the 1st of June. And then marketing organization is really talking about the structure from the owners to AJ, who's the sales representative, to the distributors who are out there, and then the company support. So some sort of a organizational chart or a discussion of the type of people that they would need to have on board to have that marketing structure and organization well laid out. And then contingency planning is what if it takes longer? So what would be a longer timeline, or what can they do as intermediary steps if they're running behind schedule? So the parts that you need to do right now, the section 7, which will be 6 because we cut section 6 out. That section is going to be pretty small. Once you put, so what I'm asking you guys to do is put the entire thing together now.
Okay.
Okay. I will look for section 7 and then the executive summary, and then make sure that your plan flows. You can turn in part 4 as scheduled next week, and then take 2 or 3 more days to revise the whole thing together, and then submit kind of like your final plan that they will see. You'll need to submit that. You could submit it up to the 28th, but if you submit it earlier, then I can look over it and give you input before that final presentation. Okay. But remember to go back and write that executive summary. And so you're going to be working on sections 1 and 7 for next week.
Okay.
And then what you're turning in now is part of 4 and 5. You guys have been just working through the outline, which is very helpful because it's already structured like a marketing plan. I have other groups who have been just turning in that little section, and their titles are not as clearly delineated as you guys have been organizing your document. Any questions?
So instead of submitting on the 21st, we have to submit on the 28th. Is that what you're saying?
Let me pull up the syllabus. Yeah, the completed marketing plan. I have the section 4 and the completed marketing plan due the same night. As long as you turn in the implement and connect by the 21st, if you take a few more days to complete the marketing plan and polish it, I'm fine with that. You won't lose any points.
Okay.
But I do need it turned in before the 28th.
Good.
Okay.
Because I will be printing all of them out and be giving them a copy of all the plans on the 28th.
All right.
Wow.
That's coming up quick.
It really is. Yeah, time is going by way too fast.
I know.
I second you, Joel.
Yeah?
Now, on the presentation then, is there kind of a format of like things we need to make sure that we touch on, at least at a high level, I'm assuming, and then how long it should be?
Your presentation should be about 15 minutes. If it's less, that's fine, but it shouldn't go much more than 15 minutes. And so I would suggest that you don't spend time on things they already know, and spend more time on the, emphasizing what you guys have created and are proposing to them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I'll be more into them, yeah.
Like, you don't need to tell them their mission statement. They know their mission statement, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
But if you have some really creative way that they can connect with their customer, spend time explaining that.
Okay, and then we should have a deck though so like for me, I should videotape myself going through the deck and then send that to you before the 28th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you guys this.
Mhm.
We have on the 28th at 6:30, we have 6 executives from Syscon who are coming to campus to hear the students present in the classroom. Okay? Do you guys have an interest in presenting online and having it beamed on the screen in the classroom?
On the 28th, right?
On the 28th, 6:30 Eastern time.
That's 7:30 my time.
So if you do, then I would have you guys go first. And then after that, you could disconnect. Or you could stay connected and watch if you wanted to see the other presentations.
Question.
Yes.
Is it that each individual has to have to present, or just the group? Maybe 1 or 2 persons represent the group.
I would say 1 or 2 people represent the group.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be out of town on
Mm-hmm.
company business
Yes.
and cannot guarantee internet access.
Okay.
I will try to move to a location where there might be internet access, for that particular program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Maybe-
then make sure that someone else is the presenter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
I am not going to, you're not going to be, your grade is not going to suffer because you were not physically there as an online student. Okay?
As long as the group has presented.
As long as the group presents, and if it is not feasible to do it
Mm-hmm.
on the 28th with the rest of the online the classroom students, we will record something and give it to them.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. I just want to know from you guys, what is most realistic? What direction do you want to go so that I can plan?
Okay.
Do you want to do the recorded thing that I give to them or that I play there? Or do you want to set it up so that you guys can do something live?
But after this, we have a meeting with the group.
Yes.
We will decide then.
Yeah.
Right, Tim? As is?
Yes, correct. After we plan to have a group meeting after this session, so we're gonna be covering that.
Okay. And so here's something for you guys to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, do you want to record the session or do you want to do it live on the 28th? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And either way, do you guys want to have a connection so that you can see the other presentations?
Okay.
Okay.
If anybody's interested in that, I'll need to know because I'll need to set that up.
Okay.
All right.
I handle technology, but I do struggle sometimes. So, so I want to make sure I do this right.
Okay.
Do you have any preference as to if we do it live or not? I mean, do you want them to be able to ask questions or be Syscon?
I mean, honestly, it would be really nice if you guys presented live and they could ask you questions, but it's not a requirement because you guys are online students.
Okay.
So I'm not going to insist. It's something that you guys need to decide what works best.
Okay, we will talk.
Okay, so just talk about it and let me know.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I did have another one if you don't mind.
Yeah, go.
The sections that we're breaking up to do plant star and sensors separately, I think, I know on one section I got feedback from you, which much appreciated, by the way, all the feedback, that I need to do kind of like an intro and recap, if you will. Should I do that on every section, that I'm splitting the two organizations apart?
As much as you would need to make the document make sense,
Okay.
because there's going to be people who don't hear the presentation, they just see the document. So the goal is that the document is coherent throughout and could stand alone.
Okay.